Hello and welcome to the
Hello there.
hello and welcome to the Comedian's Paradise, where we talk to mavericks, Arnold Schwarzeneggers, William the Conquerors of comedy. People have fantastic stories that will inspire, that will intrigue you. Now, today's guest is an absolute wonder. He's been to Australia. He was in the UK doing comedy in the 90s. And he's been in South Africa, where he manhandled some gangs in Soweto who tried to threaten him to do a comedy gig, and he sorted them out. He is a man who has many stories to tell. Please welcome, veteran in comedy, an absolutely brilliant man. Welcome, Martin Davis.
Hello there. Hello there, gang. How are you? Right?
It's a pleasure to have you on, Martin. What brings you to
Thank
this
you, sir.
fantastic podcast, and how did you get into comedy, and how did you get to where you are today?
Well, I don't know what. How did I get?
What brings you to the podcast? How did you get to where you are today, and
Well,
what
I
got
was
you into
invited.
comedy?
Well, you invited me. How did I get into comedy? Originally, I wanted to be an actor, and in back in the day, to be an actor, you need to have an equity card. So I started doing comedy to get the equity card.
Ah,
But then, as soon as I started doing comedy, I in enough rubbish profit shares around the country, touring in rubbish theatre shows, trying to get me card. Started doing comedy, and then really fell in love with it because like doing comedy, you're your own producer, writer, director. It's all down to you, good or bad. It's all down to you, and I really fell in love with it. So I kind of forgot about acting completely. Really, I just went for comedy.
and
You know?
how does your experience of comedy differ to your experience of acting?
Well, I don't know. Well, put it this way: if you're trying to do, I don't really know if it does. I think there's a certain kind of comic timing. I could do comic acting. I think comics do comic acting better than actors trying to be comics do, because we have a sort of natural. We know the beat. We know a beat of a joke. There's a certain rhythm of a joke. There's a certain way to deliver the line, which I think comics would get better than an actor trying to be a comic. Because I've seen drama students try and be comics, and it's not the same thing,
Yeah.
You know.
I heard from Viv G, who's like a comedy teacher and an acting teacher in Glasgow. She says that a lot of actors, when they do comedy, they perform as if they're a comedian rather than actually being a comedian.
Yeah. Because we'll put it this way, if you're being a comedian, anything you're saying, I always think of comedy as a stand-up argument.
Okay.
And it's your view on the world. So you're giving your view. So if it starts going a bit, if the crowd don't, disagree with a joke sometimes, because you believe in your material, you can argue back in a comic way to make it work, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Because you go, no, I'm not being this. That's racist, that's sexist, or whatever. You can actually argue back, because if you go, no, it's not, because, and then you can argue out the point. And I've done that. I've done that many times when people have gone, we think you're being this way. No, I'm not. Oh, and then you are, because you don't. If you feel you're not that person, I'm not doing that joke to do that, and you'll miss. But whereas an actor coming in and trying to do it, trying to pretend to be an act, it's not the same thing at all.
Yeah. I spoke to a road comic in America, and he says one of the things that he enjoys doing with the comedy is that he enjoys the challenge of. He sees that if your joke's really good, you can get people that are completely against your, as you say, argument or hate that topic. If it's a really good joke, you'll get them on side and get them laughing.
Yeah. Well, I was on the other night with Mark Thomas. You know Mark Thomas?
I know him, and he's absolutely amazing, and yeah, he's brilliant.
But he can sell. I've seen him sell I've seen him do it both ways. I've seen him sell knob jokes to a really right-on crowd, and I've seen him sell very clever political material to a knob gag crowd.
Yeah.
And I've seen the knob gag crowd. He's done it. They've laughed, and then you see him going, "Yeah, that really made me think. That's a clever point." But he's made me really laugh at the clever point he's made. But he's made a really clever point that maybe if you were just sitting down having a drink, they might not totally agree with straight away. But he's done it in a way that he can make them laugh, and then maybe make them go, "Well, maybe he's got a point." Come on, do you know what I mean? Because that's brilliant. That's actually brilliant to be able to do that.
So with all these people saying like you got Comedy Unleashed and you got all these other sort of movements saying, "Oh, there's all this division. We can't say this joke or that joke." Do you think part of
you can say everyone can say it's low? No, I don't. I'm not a great fan of those nights because I think once you set it up as we're going to say everything you want to say, you go, well, then it's just a free for all. Yeah, all right. Well, why don't you go out and sell your stuff to people who haven't come along with that mindset that everyone can? Because I personally don't agree with all that, because I was on with some older comics last week, and then there was some people, you can't say anything now. Yes, you can. What are you talking about? You can't. Jimmy Carr says everything he wants to say. Frankie Boyle says everything he wants to say. Ricky Gervais says everything he wants to say. There's no such thing as that you cannot say what you want to say. Yes, you can. But if you're going to do it, you've got to be good enough to do good enough material that you sell it. But don't be coming on going, oh no, you can't say nothing. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's absolute rubbish to say you can't say what you want to say.
But what about arguments where they start saying on Twitter or other things? Is that a different story?
Oh yeah, but I don't care. I don't care about Twitter. I actually do not care because it's. I used to think of the internet as the courtyard in the village, and at first it was all the intelligent people who could have a conversation, but could also have a conversation with people that they differed in their opinion. So someone had come in, but now something like Twitter, people can't seem to be able to argue with you without being abusive after about 5 responses. Do you know what I mean? They can't keep it civil. They can't just go, well, no, I think this, and you just go, you know what? Life's too fucking short. I ain't got time, you people. I ain't got time to have I've got enough people in my own life I can have a row with. I don't need to go on the internet. No, but do you know what I mean? No, there's enough people on a bus if I wanted to have a row. I don't need to go on the internet and spend my life rowing with people. So I actually don't bother. I don't bother with Twitter at all. Not at all.
Okay. But what about with some videos that have been taken? So there's a comedian called Alfie Brown, and he did a joke on, well, he's pushing it a bit, but he did the joke on the N-word, and he's a good comic and he's very successful, but he got cancelled a little bit because he made the N-word being, I'm not going to say what it is.
Yeah. But he got cancelled a little bit, so he got pushed back a bit, and he'll push back. He'll be all right. He ain't going to die.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, But then, no, I don't know what he said, and I don't know how good the joke was, and I don't know how good and how well he sold it. That he could be pushed back. I can't really comment on what happened to him. I know all the stories. I know the stories of Jerry Sadowitz and that. I find that kind of because how can you book Jerry Sadowitz and then get upset about what Jerry Sadowitz does?
yes. That was funny.
No, who do you think he was? He's been Jerry Sadowitz for a fucking long time. He hasn't suddenly gone off on a tangent and been this other guy. Jerry Sadowitz has always been Jerry Sadowitz. Then you book him into your venue, and then your staff go, "Oh no, he's a horrible man." Yes, he is an horrible man, but you booked him.
Yeah.
Christ's sake. Well, either you don't know anything about comedy, or you've done absolutely no research into the people who you're booking. And why would you be booking him in the first place to do that gig? Because he's Jerry Sadovitz. So just let him have his crap. You know what I mean? He's not Mussolini. He's not Hitler. He's just a bloody comedian. So just let him do what he does, and the people who find it funny will find it funny, and get over it. But to start going, oh no, he ain't playing out. Oh, for Christ's sake! Well, don't book him then. But don't book him in the first place if you don't want him.
Okay, but one thing I'm going to say on this, what do you think of short clips being used to weaponize against performers, where they try and get used out of context? Yeah,
everything's out of context. Because that's what happens all the time. You go, oh, he said this, and you go, yeah, but what did he say leading up to that? Now, give me the whole thing. Show me the bit, but don't show me a little bit and go, oh, he said this. Yeah, but how did he lead up to saying that, and what did he say afterwards?
Oh.
All those little clips where they go, oh, he said that. You go, oh, it's out of context. It's like people being, it's like people being interviewed and all types. I was interviewed, like stupid example. I was interviewed once, and this woman said to me, do you care that you're not a big TV star? And I said to her, nah, not really, because I don't think I'm really suitable for TV. I'm a bit too out there, and I wouldn't invite me into my living room, so it doesn't bother me. No, but it doesn't bother me. Her quote was, I didn't care that I was on telly. Now, I didn't say that. I said I understood why, if I was a TV producer, I'd see someone like me and I wouldn't be that bothered about putting me on telly, because it'd be too out there. And I was okay. I didn't say, oh, I don't care. Right? So when I read the interview back, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, I didn't say that. So that's the thing to me, that's the thing with the clips. If you take them out of context, anyone can be looked to be anything. If you take a clip out of context, show me the whole thing. Show me how he led up to it and what they said afterwards, and then I'll judge you. Then I'll go, oh yeah, no, I didn't like that.
Yes. You
know what I mean?
Give us the full picture before you judge.
Yeah. Because you can't just judge people on, because anything can be, oh, he said that, yeah, but what did he say before? And what did he say then? And then what did he say after? Give me the full chapter. Don't give me a little bit in the middle. Give me the chapter. I'll read it, and then I'll go, oh no, I didn't like that either. No. And I may agree with you, but don't quote things out of context. I'm not really interested.
Did that happen a lot when you started, or is that more of a thing now? Or is it always?
Much more, yeah. But all that, for Christ's sake, you didn't have cancel culture. You didn't have woke wars. No, what I mean? No, there's loads of things. No, but there's loads of things we didn't have that to now are just so confusing to me as an older man. I just go, what? Ooh, what? But no, but the world changes. But no. Like you either the crowd liked you, or the crowd didn't like you. You know what I mean? You didn't get cancelled. You just didn't get booked because you weren't funny.
Yeah.
It's simple as that, really. I think.
This is something that I heard from Earl Oaken, the legend that is Earl Oaken. And
oh yes, the man with no seatbelt.
The man with no seatbelt, really?
His car's I'm not sure if he's still got his lovely old Daimler, but I remember once we were going to a gig and I got in the car and I went to do this, and there was nothing there. and it's before seatbelts.
Oh God!
And I went, oh, and he just looked at me and went, no, I ain't got one, and you don't have to have one because there's some classification. Because it's an old car and it doesn't have one. I went, oh, and it was such a big monster of a car. There was no way we were ever going to be in a car crash because it was only going about 30 miles an hour anyway.
He's an interesting man.
He's a lovely man.
Amazing. Oh, I love him. Yeah, he's a lovely guy. He's got so many stories to tell, and he's
oh man,
yeah, I love him.
He did South Africa once, and he was in South Africa, hot South Africa, and I swear he wore his suit with his spats and his fantastically arranged hair for the 2 weeks he was there. He never looked any different, bless him. He never got swimming trunks were never seen.
Yeah, I also heard about him in Malaysia. The comedians over there, they say it's like boiling, but he would always wear a suit.
No, always wear his suit with his spats. Yeah. Oh no, because he's ill, and it's brilliant. I can go for him.
That's brilliant. And he's told me that his technique for keeping cool is that he will go to shopping centres and then get out.
Yeah. But he's what he wears is Earl, and Earl always has to be Earl, and he's not going to compromise just because I'm in Southern Africa and I'm boiling to death.
Yeah.
Am I going to put khaki shorts on? No, I'm fucking not.
No.
That's not happening.
No,
I'm coming down to breakfast in my full regalia. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I'd seen more. I want to see more of him. I think when he does that.
Oh, he's lovely. He's a lovely act. Yeah.
I think if he's doing his birthday show next year in Pizza Express, I'm going to go and watch it because I know that he gets a lot of comedians, doesn't he, on that?
Yeah. Oh no, he's a lovely act, but all that, the world needs more Earl. Yes, if you're listening to this, Earl, the world needs more Earl Okins in the world. Yeah. Even if I know you don't like football, I won't hold that against you. But I know you like cricket, and I don't. But outside of that, the world does need more Earl Okins.
Am I allowed to explore what you mean by that, or should we leave it there?
Characters. No. People, no. It was one of your questions where you were saying what is something you think you miss, and I miss characters. I miss like character comics. People, instead of just being white male stand-ups.
Yeah.
I miss the characters, the Martin Soames, the Steve Badishes, Earl. People who are real characters. They're not just getting on stage. They're not just getting on stage and doing jokes. They're doing something else. They take it somewhere else. It doesn't always work, but that's fine because they try stuff. And the world needs, the comedy circuit needs more of that. Because to me, the last kind of character comic to come through the circuit is probably Carrie Hill.
Okay.
And all the people who seems to me the people who come afterwards have just been straight white male stand-ups, which is a shame. It'd be nice to have some characters, some people doing, Reeves and Mortimer's, having people doing stuff that's not just straight, which is a bit out there.
But the Edinburgh Fringe is still carrying on with that sort of routine, isn't
That's it? Yeah. But then does that get on? Does that? I don't see. So you'll probably ask me about the circuit. I don't really know anything about the circuit at the moment because I've only been back a couple of months.
Okay.
So it's all the circuit here now is all very much new to me. I'm discovering the way it is and the way it's not. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Oh, I see. So it's almost, but you remind me of what my dad said there in terms of he says that he left Liverpool to come here, and he says that Liverpool's now a completely different city to the one he grew up in. He's probably more of a Londoner.
Oh, I went out with a girl in Liverpool, and the first time I went to Liverpool, I thought there'd been I thought the war had just ended. Because there were pubs boarded up. There was this, but I was like, what the fuck's happened here? And then you go there now, and it's all, because they were badly treated, and they didn't have a lot of money, and it was tough. It was really, really tough. So it's so it's changed a lot.
And that's why my dad's here. Otherwise he wouldn't.
Yeah.
He said that the area was really lovely when it was lots of jobs, but when they went away, it got really
So the
dodgy.
dogs went, yeah.
He was just like, I had to get out of there and do something.
Yeah, because that's all there was. You know, what they had were the docks, and when all the, you know, when it changed, when all the container ships and all that started happening, and it all went, yeah, you know, that's your industry, and now it's gone. So yeah, no, it really affected the city.
You know what? One of the things you said there about there being less characters, and I think it's the same thing in America as well. That because comedy's become more commercialized, people there's so much money at stake. People are more scared to take the big risks in order to get the gold mine. They don't want to. They want to play it safe. Like even in films, they're doing like instead of taking a big risks, now they're remaking films like The Lion King or doing these prequels, doing this and that. They're not taking
it's either the Marvel universe or it's remakes of everything.
But they know it's a safe bet to get people in, and they don't want to lose money. They don't want to go on the ride and enjoy it.
Yeah. And then TV, if you're invited, the thing I loved about Harry, especially there was one time when he was doing You've Been Framed and TV Burp one after the other. So he actually owned Saturday night. This mad bloke had an hour every Saturday night. You go, how did you do that, Harry? Brilliant. Like, and he had one show and then he had another show straight after it. Wow, how good's that?
And that's because his persona and because he's interesting and mad.
Oh, he's TV friendly. He's not threatening, but he's out there. He's definitely out there, and he'll push it. He'll push the envelope. He'll push the madness. You know what I mean? He ain't just. He's not just. Oh, I'm a crazy guy. He is out there as well, and he'll do some really like surreal, lovely stuff. But he'll do it for a mainstream audience. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Is that also one of? Do you know a comedian called Joey Diaz from America?
I know the name.
Oh, he's the one comic that I want to see in the UK. He's a mad Cuban American who was selling drugs and all that, and he's got all these mad stories that are hilarious. And
right.
he sounds like a grumpy old uncle that you, yeah. Right. But you what you said there about characters and all that's interesting to me, because does it make comedy easier if you focus on having not but if it's focused because it's all focused on you rather than the clever thing you've written?
I don't know. I'm not clever enough to answer.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's all right. No, I like the place I was coming from. I would like a sprinkling of more. I'd like a sprinkling of more characters to break up the safe TV friendly, just doing gags people. I would like just a sprinkling more of those people where you can't quite put a handle on them. You go, what are they doing? And that's lovely because it just keeps it. It's not just it's not just another. You go, oh gosh, is that, who is that bloke? And he makes So for me, I'd love to see a sprinkling a bit more of having characters on the circuit, or just in comedy generally.
Okay, cool. And is the Edinburgh? Have you? One thing, I've had a lot of people on the podcast, and I've spoken to people about the Edinburgh Fringe, and a lot of them have spoken about how when the big comedy agencies came in, it changed Edinburgh. Like Edinburgh was supposed to be a thing that got people discovered, and then now it's become more commercialized. But at the end of the day, it's still a great thing with Edinburgh, because like if you get an award, you do something really original, you're still going to be talking to TV producers if you win.
But also the thing is, it's catch-22, isn't it? Because comics can. I always used to notice you'd get comics going up to Edinburgh, and when they came back, it was like they'd been to a comedy boot camp for a month because they were conceivably better.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? just that thing of doing their own shows and running around doing other shows, and just that thing of grinding it out over a month, they were better for it.
Okay.
You know, it probably broke their hearts, it broke their bank balance. They weren't discovered. They weren't discovered by anybody, but they were better comics for it, though. But and also Edinburgh is you can go and do your show. You're not playing a club. You don't have to do the thing. You don't have to do the thing that the promoter's paying you to do. You don't have to do your act. You've got an hour and you pay for it, and it's your world. So go up and talk about and do whatever. Do what you want to do. So, that's a beautiful thing to be able to do it every year. And then if you do that, then you can go and, if you start doing it well, then you can go and do Australia or whatever. You know what I mean? You can tour something around. So that takes you away from just being a 20-minute, 30-minute, 40-minute club act. You can stretch yourself and start doing. I was up there once, and my mate, I won't say his name, but a mate of mine, he had an hour show, and the review was, it was very good, but all it really was an extended set.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't really about anything. It was just an hour. It was him doing an hour, and he got upset, and I said to him, "Yeah, but they're right." Because it is just you doing it. You haven't come here and done a show about anything. You've just done you doing an hour's worth of material. Whereas I always think Edinburgh is that thing. You get a chance to go up there and you can do something about cancer. You can do something about anything, because it's your hour and you've paid for it, and it can be as silly, it can be as serious. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you like in that hour, and that's got to be good for comics so they're not in the straitjacket of, especially when there was a proper circuit, a more solid circuit than there seems to be now. You could break away of just doing, from having to do just the circuit kind of thing.
And with all the things you've said there, a comedy show is very different to when you started as well, because you said there was a lot more balmy acts than there is now. Were shows back then completely more unpredictable than they are now?
A bit, yeah. I think comedy audiences are more. I miss like an old. Which way? I haven't seen. I went there the other week and they didn't seem quite the same. I miss the old Up the Creek crowds. Because they're rough, judgmental, but if they liked you, they liked you. And they knew the difference, but they were very comedy savvy, and they had their own kind of level that they expected you to do. And if you could do it, you were fine. If you couldn't reach that level, they would rip you a new one. They would rip you a new one very savagely. But if you were good, they would literally carry you out the venue.
Oh.
So I miss that. Do you know what I mean? I miss that kind of energy. I haven't seen that yet. Even when I went to the Up the Creek the other week, it was good. It was nice. All the acts did well, but it didn't feel quite that. You know what I mean? The way I remembered it.
Okay.
It didn't seem to feel quite as crackly to me. But maybe it was just that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you never know. It's a bit like one of those things where sometimes as a promoter, when you see a comedian do badly once, it's hard to shake that image of them being.
Oh, but everyone has it. It depends why they've had a bad night. Everyone has a bad night. I've seen everybody die. Everybody dies. Dies.
But when you watch them as on the other side, yeah, everyone dies. Definitely, I 100% agree with that. But I'm saying that from the promoter's side, when you've got that image, or if another comic sees you and they've seen you do badly a few times, they will have that image of you. It's hard to shake that image of them.
I always remember, and and it was going back to Up the Creek. I remember Johnny Vegas he did his open spot, right? And he died on his ass.
Yeah.
And when he came off, Jane and Malcolm said to him, right, have you got your diary? We want to put in some dates. And Johnny was all like, you know, but I died on my ass. And they went, yeah, but we could see what you were trying to do.
Ah.
Right, so they weren't even paying that. They were actually watching. Okay, yeah. He's making us laugh. Yeah, we can see what's happening. It's not happening tonight, but we can see what's happening. And they gave him loads of dates on the back of his finger, even though he died on his ass, but they could see he was something.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Because he was all like, and they said, and you didn't break out of character. You stayed in your Vegas. You stayed in your Johnny Vegas character, and you didn't go, oh shit, it's all going a bit shit. You just kept on being Johnny Vegas. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He was committed to it, and he did it, and came off, and he never felt he was never like, oh, poor old me, I hadn't done well. And they were like, no, but we could see what you were trying to do.
Hmm.
And it's brilliant. And they go, oh, okay. So I'd like, it's one of your questions about, what would you like promoters to do? I'd like promoters to have a vision in a club and to sometimes care a bit more, not just pour people into a club and then open the doors at the end of the night and then just pour them out again. Put a bill together, try and have some lights and shade and different types, make it a nice, don't just have, a white male like compare and then 3 white guys doing a show. You're like, no, let's have, or let's have a musical act and let's have something that's, let's mix it up and, just to care a bit, maybe sometimes a bit more with some places.
We've got there's a few nights that are a bit like that. Like there's ACMS, which is a bit of a mad bonkers night. So they've got a lot of clowns there, and they've got a lot of mad acts, but they're just created to that. So it's in some respects, nights have become a bit more segregated. And obviously, you got Comedy Unleashed, right, which as you do comedy that you're not supposed to say out loud, or
yeah, great for them. But I personally don't go for that because I go, no, we'll go out and do, because you're playing to the converted. As soon as you say we're doing Comedy Unleashed, as soon as you say that's what you're doing and we can come here and say, then you're gonna, no one's gonna challenge you, because that's the whole thing of that we can get on stage and say what we want. Oh, okay. Well, fucking good for you. We'll fucking do it on other nights and get up in front of people who aren't converted to your church of saying what you want to say, and then see if you can say no, and then see if you can say it to them.
Okay. But as a sort of a comedian that's been doing it since the 90s, and you've been doing it as long as I've been alive, what have I said something? Sorry.
No. I'm just trying to think of that. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And you've gigged in Australia. You've gigged in South Africa.
I've gigged. I've all around the far. Yeah, but I've done all those expat gigs. I've done China, Mali, Bali, Singapore, all those.
But what have you found with performing in those sort of places? Because I interviewed a comedian he called himself now Lermo Yanasi, and he mentions that in South Africa, we complain about being cancelled or this and that. He says he's done a gig in Soweto where you got people with guns in their pockets, and it's like you're worried about dying on stage. Fuck it, I've almost been killed on stage.
I've done Soweto. I've done something like the Zone Bar, something like that in Soweto, and I've done the Soweto Comedy Festival as well. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I've had all sorts. Yeah.
But when you've been, so with a lot of comedians having all these fears about, I don't know, this and that, you've done every gig possible. And what are things that you would say comedians that are new have fears about, which are like, what are they on about? So like performing in Soweto, a lot of people would say, "Oh, I may die on stage." Like, what's your?
I walk in, so obviously I'm the only white guy in the venue.
Yeah.
And then I look out and I see this other white guy behind the bar, and I'm like, "Who the fuck's that bloke?" And it turns out that he's the owner of the bar.
Oh.
Only two white people. But I was on stage and I remember looking and thinking, "Hang on a minute," and I was saying to the crowd, "There's another white bloke. How did he get in here? Who's he? Because I know why I'm here." Like, who's he? And they went, "Oh, he's the owner." And I was like, "Oh, it's lovely." Even in Soweto, the white people still own everything. You know what I mean? Fuck it. It's all changed and nothing's changed. Fucking lovely. Lovely. Yes, I've done all that, yeah. I've done all sorts.
So, but what's it? Were you scared, or what's it like playing some of these mad places?
No. I've been more scared on the night bus going home on a Saturday night. I'm not particularly scared of. No.
Oh.
What? I've done bikers bars, biker gang things. No. I'm not scared of an audience. No.
Oh.
No. You walk into places sometimes. I did one. There's a place outside of Perth called Fremantle. And you walk in. No, there wasn't Fremantle. Where was it? Oh. Mandra. And in one of those bars where you walk in and literally everybody in the venue turns around and looks at you. It was like walking into the Wild West.
Oh.
You walk in and literally everyone's like, and they don't just look around and look at you, they look around and stay looking at you. And you're like, okay. So you make a thing of it, you go to the bar. I'd really like a Coca-Cola, if that would be okay. And the barmaid looks back at you, who the fuck's this bloke? Right? But then you get on with it. No, it's fine. I'm not, no. I don't get scared of things. The only things I get scared of would be, the only things I get scared of is things I wouldn't do. Potholing. I have no interest in doing potholing. It terrifies me. I'd fucking drown. So I don't do it. Everything else, nothing scares me. I just get on with doing stuff. You know what I mean? Life's too short. Life's too short to stop yourself being scared. And then if you do ever feel nervous and, hang on, I'm not sure about this. The amount of times I've had that, and then you come off and it was a brilliant night and you feel so alive because you know what I mean? The first time I went to South Africa, there was two shows. There was a show in the main theatre, and it was all South Africans. And the big thing that South Africans do when they talk, they'll kind of tell you a story in English. They'll be doing something, but the punchline to the story or the punchline to the joke, they sometimes do in Afrikaans.
Oh.
Because my wife used to do that, right? My ex-wife, and people do it to make a point. They'll go, and the thing was, and then this bloke said to him, and then they'll say the punchline in Afrikaans because it kind of makes more sense and has a heavier meaning for some reason. They can sort of articulate better in Afrikaans, right? So you go, okay. So I'd watched the first show, and I'm thinking, this is going to be shit. This is going to be so shit. So the guy who was promoting it, he said to me, "You all right?" I said, "No, not really." I said, "This is going to be bollocks." I said, "They're not going to understand me at all. This is rubbish." And he said, "Right, Mike, I'll tell you what you do. Why not tonight just do 10 minutes, right? Don't do 20, just do 10 so you can ease yourself in." And I went, no. I've come a long way, and if I'm going to do what I'm going to do, I'm going to do my time. And I went on and had a lovely time. So, at times you can be, you may be kind of like, oh, this is a bit out of my comfort zone, this is a bit weird. But you step up, and then when you step up and it goes well, you feel so like, yes, there you go. You've got to face down your fears.
Yeah. It's true. No, that's interesting. Well, what you said there about a lot of things, if I mentioned that to a lot of comedians I know, there would be a lot of trepidation in what you've said there.
Now, when I was a kid, I had a stutter. I sometimes stutter now. I was mildly bullied at school. I've always stepped up to do the things that I want to do. I won't get intimidated by anybody or anything. And you know, I mean, I've done tougher things, and I've gone through tougher things than fucking comedy.
Mm.
No, I mean, nothing's gonna scare me. You get nervous. You sometimes go, oh, okay, this is there's a lot of people in ties, in suits and ties, and they're a bit of a, straight crowd. But okay, but let's see if we can make this work. So you've got to step up and make things work. Face down your fears. You know what I mean?
What's been the biggest moment in comedy that you witnessed that you've conquered your fear over, and that helped you become a better comic?
Well, that was probably the one in South Africa when the guy was saying, just do 10 minutes. And it was their first ever festival. So there was only me from the UK and some American girl. And it was supposed to be an international festival, but they'd got a Canadian magician who worked in the magic shop in Cape Town, so it wasn't really international. There was me and this American girl who were really like the only international acts, and it was the first time I'd been away to somewhere, that far away on my own. I wasn't with any other comics, so we could kind of go, we're kind of in this together, kind of thing. I was on me Todd, so I could have buckled and gone, oh yeah, I'll just do 10 minutes. But I went, no, I've come a long way. I'll do me 20. You know?
Yeah. And once you got into the moment of doing it, then you're like, it's what
I just did what I did. I played with because back then it was like probably 20 odd years ago. Comedy doing it the way we do it was new to them as well.
Mm.
So having someone on stage talking directly to them, not just telling them jokes, but actually talking to them, was actually new for them. And that they were literally sitting in their seats, like looking the other way, going, "He's talking to me."
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. It's fine. Yeah. Right. So that was different. But then, I just made it work. You play the crowd, you play the night. Yeah.
But if you had to say something about UK crowds and South African crowds and Australian crowds, how do they differ?
People are people. It's very hard. You can't even say UK crowds because you could get a crowd. You could get a crowd in Liverpool on a Saturday night, and a crowd in London on a Saturday night, and a crowd in Swansea on a Saturday night, and they'll all be different. And there'll be crowds in London in different venues. Will be different. So you really can't. You really cannot. I used to love playing. All right, in South Africa, I didn't like playing to predominantly white, rich Cape Townians. Because God, they were so far up their arse and so hard to play. Your Afrikaans, brilliant. Your blacks, brilliant. Because when they liked you, they loved you. They fucking went mental for you. And the coloureds, when they liked you, they fucking went for you. So, like in South Africa, that was the only time when I did kind of go, oh God. If I was doing Cape Town, if it was a corporate gig and there was too many moneyed white people in, I used to say to the Sandman, oh Christ, there's too many white people in. Oh God. And that includes me. Oh bloody hell. Here we go. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be a different night because they're going to be a bit more work than normal. Whereas I remember doing a corporate once there, and it was on the day when the rand had fallen. It's fallen quite badly that day. Now, normal people, you know, when the pound drops or goes up or down, we don't react because normal people don't have enough money to make a fucking blind bit of notice. Like to us, because it's gone up, it's gone down, the Dow Jones is this. Yeah, fucking, yeah, great. Yeah, so, right? People who've got money, when the Dow Jones or thingy goes up or down, it actually affects them. It means that they've, on paper, have lost or gained proper money. They were the most miserable crowd you'd ever, and nothing had particularly happened, but they were fucking miserable because the rand had taken a real kick in that day, and they'd lost on paper a lot of all the people in that crowd that day had lost a lot of money. God, they were miserable. Whereas if you're playing, to normal people and there's, the inflation's gone up and then your gas bill's going through the roof, people just get on with it because everyone's in the same position. But people who've got money, if they suddenly haven't got as much as they did have, they can be out to play.
Yeah, because they're ungrateful, aren't they?
Yeah, and my millions aren't quite worth the millions that they were. And you go, you're breaking my heart, love. Fucking hell. You won't be able to afford that other house in Tuscany. Oh, you poor darling. Okay. You know what I mean? So you go.
So effectively, there is no sort of people, as you say, people are people, and you just got to work out what the room is.
You got to play the room. I said I played. You can't go, everyone up north's this. No, they're not. Depends on the night. Depends who's in. It literally depends who's sitting where. The amount of times I played clubs and you have this lovely table down the front who are such great fun and if they'd been sitting somewhere else and you'd had a different set of people sitting there and you might have had a right bunch of fucking idiots sitting there, it would have been a completely different night. I remember once doing the calf and there was these kids in and I said to the bouncer, I looked at the bouncer, I said, they're all on coke. They're tripping their fucking tits off on coke because they're at the bar and they're all fucking like this. So we start the show and this girl from nowhere just went, is that all you're gonna fucking do? Just take the piss out of people? Are you gonna tell any fucking jokes? And I went, all right, sweetheart. You want to calm down? Don't you fucking tell me to calm down. And then two of the boys, guys who were with us stood up and were giving it all this. And I'm like, I said, look, just calm down. We're only just starting the show. If this is how you're going to be at the beginning of the show, this is going to be horrible. I'll just get on with it. There's nothing you can do. And I went, excuse me? He said, there's nothing you... And I said, well, we've only just started the show. Are you telling me that I can't stop the show now, chuck you out, and start again?
Oh,
are you... Do you know what? That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to stop the show, chuck you out because you're tripping off your tits on coke, and you've picked exactly the wrong thing to do and do coke. If you're going to do coke, fucking go dancing or go fucking each other. But don't do a thing where you've got to sit down and listen to somebody because you're all... for fuck's sake. So we chucked them out. We moved the table from the back down the front. I went back on after the crowd went mad and we had a brilliant night. You know what I mean? So it's the same. It's more or less the same amount of people in the room. We just took out one bit. There was like a cancerous growth from the room, and we took them out and we chucked them out, and then we started again, and then we had a brilliant night.
What you mentioned there is very interesting. I hear a lot of comics that I come across, and a lot of comedians, they complain about gigs not being set up right for them to perform. But from what I gather from you, I hear like I don't give a shit. I'll work with whatever's there, and I'll work my arse to make it work. If I don't make it work, then I'll learn something from it. But if I do, fair enough.
If I turn up at a gig and you haven't, in my mind, right, which way I was doing a gig, once, and there was supposed to be 2 acts and a regular MC. So the regular MC turned up, and he went, "Are the acts here?" And the girl went, "Yeah, one of them's in the dressing room, and the other one's moving the tables and chairs." And he went, "Oh yeah, that'll be Martin." Yeah. No, that's what he does. Yeah. And he didn't even react to it. He went, "Yeah, no, that's what Martin does. He'll turn up, he'll look at the room and go, well, no, the tables are too far away, or you've got a whacking big gap in the middle. You don't need that gap in the middle. So we'll move them closer. So if you want to leave, you can leave in the middle and down the 2 sides. But you don't need you don't need a football pitch in the mid, because it's ridiculous. If you're on stage and you've got a big gap, so now you're playing to 2 separate rooms in the one gig. So if you do need you need people to come, just do it so it's 2 people's wide, because that's all you need. So I will do things like that. I'll turn up at gigs, and if I'm not happy the way it's set up, I will move tables and chairs. I'll move tables and chairs. I'll turn lights. I remember doing a gig once where the guy had lights. He still had the lights on round the room, and it was a nice enough gig. And I said to him, "Can we turn those lights off?" And he gave me this look. He went, "Yeah, we could do." And he just sort of kept staring at me, and I went, "Oh right. Do you know what I could do? I could go and sit in the car and not fucking do this gig if you want."
What?
And he looked at me. I said, "Fella, the worst thing you can do for me is not pay for me to do tonight and never book me again. I don't care about either of them. But having these lights on all around the room is shit. So I'll ask you again, can you turn these lights off? And can we just have the lights that are on stage? Because I'm not being funny. I've done 1 million gigs and you haven't done, doesn't seem to me as that you've done that many. And I know more than you. So I'll ask you again, can you turn these lights off? Or do you want me to go and sit in the car?" And he turned the lights off. And it was a lovely gig, and I never played there again.
What?
I didn't care. But no, it's fine.
What's so with a lot of things that go on in comedy, you get a lot of that's a pretty interesting story, that.
I've got love. I have millions of interesting stories, my dear.
Now,
yeah. Oh no, I wasn't gonna. No, I did another one where I turned up, and you turn up at the hotel, and there's 3 of us, and they go, "Oh, we've only got 2 rooms," right? And I went, "Excuse me?" And they went, "Oh, are you Martin?" I went, "Yeah, why?" "Oh, they said you'd say that. You've got a room." And I went, "Oh, okay." So I turned to the other 2 and said, "Are you happy sharing?" And they went, "Well, no, not really." So I said, "Right, so you need to find one of these a room as well." I said, "Don't think you've bought me off by giving me a room. I'm with them. So you need to sort this. If you told us when we were coming down that 2 of these had to share a room, it would have been up to them. If they agreed, they turn up, we do it. But don't put us here and then suddenly go, now you've got to share a room." Well, no, I don't want to. So if you don't like it, if we don't like it, do you know what we can do? We'll get back in the car and we'll drive home. And strangely, they found a room.
Yeah.
There you go. And it was silly because, you know, what is it? It only means that you've got to change the sheets on an extra bed the next day, because you did have, you know, as if you've saved anything. You're not saving anything because you're not renting that room out anyway. You know what I mean? All you got to do is change this. Here's 1 more pair of sheets. Well, fucking do it then. Fuck's sake, yeah. Oh no, you should never be scared to know your own importance without being a big head. You should never be scared to know your importance on the night, because you are the show. So, I want things to be a certain way. I want a certain amount of respect, and then I will go out there. I won't drink before a gig. I'm not on fucking drugs. I'll come down there and I'm gonna do the best show I can do for you. But I expect you to meet me halfway as well.
Yeah.
Just courtesy, really.
What you said there, I know a lot of. Yeah, that's. And what do you
know your own worth? But know your own worth in this world, and sometimes if you're starting off, you may not have any worth because you're starting off.
Yeah.
Right. So if you haven't got it, if you haven't got that card to play, then you can't play it. So when you're an open spot on that, you just have to put up with a bit of rubbish, because that's just the way that's just the way life is, where you are now. But when you move up a bit, and it's not being a big, it's not being a diva, it's just no, I want a certain amount of respect. But you treat me well, I will work my fucking hard. I'm not going to undersell the act. I'm not drinking. No, if you've got a free bar, I'm not drinking before the gig. I'm doing my gig first.
Okay.
I might have a drink after the gig, but no. I'm not partying or doing anything before the gig. I've come down to do your show, and I'll do your show, and I will do the best I can for your show.
And with you doing all these, so for acts starting out, and what would you say? You mentioned it before, like if you're just an open spot, you have to do a bit of rubbish. But what is the point where, even if you get to the bigger clubs, you've got to be, I don't know, at the top secrets, the comedy stores, that you've got to. Where would you say is the point?
To them, I would say go to those clubs on your own and not be doing an open spot, and say to yourself, am I good enough to be playing here yet?
Okay.
Right? Because what's the point? What is the point in getting an open spot at the store or top secret or whatever? What's the point in getting an open spot there if you're not good enough yet to play there? Because you're wasting your time, and you're going in, you're putting your calling card down as you as a comedian, and then like the promoter's going to see you and go, well, no, and then he pushes you back. Do all the other places and work your way up. Because I remember back in the day, the store used to be, you used to have to be doing at least 10 minutes thingy at other clubs before they would even book you as an open spot.
Oh, okay. Before the Gong Show.
That was before. Yeah, now the Gong Show, I can imagine now has changed that dynamic all again. But back in the day, it used to be, you would have to be doing 10 minutes, and so because that was the logic. This is the comedy store, it's the London Palladium of comedy clubs. So don't come here and be half-arsed, because the comedy store crowd, if you're good enough, it's the easiest fucking club to play, because they're all there. Brilliant lights, brilliant stage, fantastic sound desk, brilliant bouncers, comedy bouncers. I know that sounds a funny thing to say, but bouncers who understand the difference between a little joining in and being a cunt. So they'll let you be a bit, and if you're adding to the show, they're not going to come up to you and tell you to shut the fuck up. But if you're spoiling the show, they'll have you out, and they won't, because you're fucking it up for the other fucking 300 and whatever people who've paid fucking good money. But a little bit of banter, and if you can be good with it, fucking happy days, fucking have a go. So the store, those kind of gigs are really easy to do if you're good enough. Now, if you're an open spot and you're not up to that standard, fucking don't go and do them, because you're spoiling yourself. It's like trying to play in the Premier League and you might only be a first division club. You're not even a championship club.
Yeah.
So at least get up to the championship. At least be pushing for promotion, and then you say to yourself, "Well, I could have a go.
Yeah.
But if you're not that, well, fucking don't do it then. do the other clubs and be better, and then you go, no, I could do it. I could do a really good type 10 at the store. And if you're good enough, the store is actually really easy to play.
I heard that from Quincy Jones. He said to me that if you can't do well at the Comedy Store, once you get to a certain point, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, because everything's set up. Everything's been done for you. Dressing room backstage. You go straight on. You've got a fantastic sound desk there. You've got the bar at the back that's quiet. Everyone's sitting in lines. There's no tables or shit. Everyone's fucking nice and tight around you. Brilliant lights, brilliant sound. Everything's that is a comedy club. If you're going to design a comedy club, you design the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
It's exactly how you'd want it to be. It's not huge. It's not going back. There's not something where you're sitting at the back and you're miles away. It's all nice, compact. It's all there for you. So if you can do it, it's easy. But if you're below, but then because the people are paid top money, if you're not up to the standard of the guy who's just been on before you, who's a proper act, if you come on and you're half-assed, they will fucking tear you one. Because I've paid, 20, 25 quid? I don't want a £10 act. I want a £25 act.
I still think that's cheap for comedy. When you compare with the West End theatre shows, I look at the prices they charge.
Yeah. But it's like, how would I always think about it? It's like napkins in a restaurant. If you get a meal and it's a paper napkin, then you only expect a certain sort of standard of food. Now, if you pay more and it's a better, it's a more of a clothy. No, it's a more tissuey kind of napkin. You're thinking, oh, okay, I'm expecting more. If I'm paying enough and I'm getting a linen serviette, I expect a proper meal.
Yeah.
Don't you? So it's the money you pay. So when you're paying 25, 30 quid to go to the store, then it's kind of, you just kind of go, well, they're going to be store acts, and they are. That's who they book.
Yeah.
And it is you can always have bad nights, but they are easier to play than maybe like a £10, a £5 place. That's not all brilliantly set up. It's in the back room of a pub, and might not be packed out with people, and the lights aren't great and everything. It's actually harder to do a gig like that.
Okay. Yeah. It's interesting. So, yes, each thing you're saying is bloody getting me thinking.
I can talk, love.
Now, we mentioned this, you mentioned some great things before we started the podcast, and I think these are things that we definitely need to share with other acts who are listening in. And you mentioned about how, I mentioned before in the podcast, one of the reasons that I like doing is I feel that I learn more in one conversation than having some years gigging. And you mentioned before that you gave some great advice to an open spot comic about him being scared of performing on stage.
But there was a kid. I was doing the calf one night, and there was this young kid, and he was really, really nervous. And I said, he was sort of really pacing around, and I said to him, you're all right. And he went, no, not really. And I said, you worried about? You nervous about tonight's gig? You went, oh yeah. I said, fella, listen. I said, do you know what happens if you go on tonight and you're really bad? Really bad. And he went, no. Know what happens? And he goes, and I went, nothing. Nothing happens. As long as you don't hit someone, as long as you don't kick people's drinks, you don't get on their tables and kick their drinks over or something, nothing's going to... Oh, but do you know what happens if you're really, really good? No. Know what happens? Nothing. Now, if you carry on being good, then clubs are going to know, and when you start going more open spots, people are going to book you, and you're going to start getting gigs. So basically, nothing's going to happen if you're really shit, and nothing's going to happen if you're really good. So what you worried about? Just get up there, enjoy yourself. You've done more than most people just putting a foot on stage. they can heckle you all you want. You've done more than them. So enjoy yourself. It's not rocket science. No one's going to die. You're not curing cancer, but you're doing a great thing, and enjoy it. Enjoy doing it. Come on, this is an adventure. It's brilliant. About a month later, I got an email. My agent got an email saying he'd learned more from me in 10 minutes than he'd learned in like 6 months of doing open spots. And it was just saying, it doesn't matter. Just, really enjoy it, especially when you're an open spot. Enjoy the thing that you've got the chance to experiment when you're an open spot. Whereas you don't particularly get that chance when you're a paid spot, because people want you to do what you do, and you might come down with a wacky new bit that you can't do in a club. Do you know what I mean? Because they want you to do what they're paying you to do. Whereas if you're an open spot, no one's paying you. So if you've got some weird idea, you've got a ventriloquist dog bit you want to do, whatever you want to do, fucking do it. Don't matter, does it? So go and do open spot nights. Go and do new material nights. Go and do everything. Get up everywhere you can, because you can. And the more you do, the better you'll get. Just stage time is, you learn all the things you don't know that you don't know. I know it sounds, no, but you know what I mean?
You know what you don't know when you've had some experience, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, I suppose it's like, like a juggling trick. You might have seen someone juggling. You go, how do they do that? And then when you learn how to do it, oh, it's like that. Oh, okay. So it demystifies it, but you actually learn tricks. You learn stagecraft. You learn not to, if you're chatting to someone in the crowd, if they're a prick, stop talking to them. If you're chatting to someone and they're like sucking all your energy, just fucking leave them alone. You don't have to talk to that person. Fucking just move off. And there's so many things, like being on stage. How you do your jokes. The punchline there, punchline there. Keep everyone involved in the room. There's so many that's got nothing to do with material. There's so many stagecraft stuff that you'll learn how to do just by doing it. Stupid. The amount of times I see a new act, and they'll go, "What did you think of my set?" And I go, "I don't know. I couldn't hear you." Because you got the microphone down here. I said, "I don't know if you're good or bad."
Oh.
No, but I don't know if you're good or bad, and neither did the audience, because your microphone technique is so shit. Put it so you can hear it coming back from the. If you can hear yourself coming back from the speaker, then you're talking into the microphone at the right level. But if you can't hear yourself, of course you can hear yourself because it's you talking. But if you can't hear it coming back, then you're not doing it properly. So silly, just. That's basic, but it's basic. But you'll be fucking amazed at the amount of new acts you see who fucking walk on with the mic down here, and you're going, "What's he saying? I don't know. I can't hear him." Do you know what I mean? I don't know what he's saying. I haven't got a clue. Now he might be actually really funny, but if I can't engage with you, if I can't hear you, if I'm sitting there going, "What?" like that, you got to learn how to play every room. I'm quite energetic on stage, but I will temper my energy to the room I'm playing in. Right? So I'm not going to go out and play a big hall or a theatre energy to a small room. I'll play the energy that's right for that room. But it's still going to be me being me. Yeah. But it's not going to be it's going to be right? So you got to judge. So it's all, there's so many things you learn. You don't know them until you learn it, and you go, oh yeah, right, yeah. the best bit of comedy advice I was ever given was learn literally how to get on stage. If you're playing in a little pub room, right, and there's not like an obvious alley or something, you know, try and get on stage while they're still clapping. Because do you know what I mean? Because there's nothing worse when the audience are, like, you've been introduced and the bloke's still trying to get through the crowd. Right, so when he gets on stage, they've been, hey, hey, hey. Yeah, fucking whatever. Do you know what I mean? And it's a real simple one, but get on stage while they're still clapping. Now, you've done nothing. You've told no jokes, but at least you've started your 20 minutes, 10 minutes. We've started it well because you're there. It hasn't been kind of awkward. You know, fucking well, he's still trying. Oh, here he is. He's trying to get through. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. Bloody hell. This is something that I've also learned from Gareth Berlin. You mentioned a great bit of advice in terms of when an MC's tanked a room, he said that you did something really brilliant in terms of bringing the room back up. He mentioned this to me when I interviewed him.
What did I do?
I can't remember what. No, but he mentioned that he was talking that you were good at this. You were very good at sort of whatever. If a comedian MC was dreadful at the start, you were very good at getting the room ready again.
Well, if you were MCing and you weren't good, I would probably just MC myself. Basically, I would probably do all the things he hasn't done. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if an act's died, it depends why they've died. If they've just died because the crowd didn't go with them, if they've died because they were being offensive, or there were an open spot and they didn't. It depends how people die. You know, but you can't put it this way. If you're MCing and an act or an open spot has died, you can't pretend they haven't. Because an audience will get annoyed with you. Because I remember doing one once, and it was like a load of like open spot acts, and I went, ladies and gentlemen, do you want another great act? And this bloke went, no. I went, what? No, we don't want you to bring anyone else on. You're the only bloody good one here. I went, oh, because he went, yeah, everyone you say, he's a great personal friend of mine. Oh, and I said, right, ladies and gentlemen, the next act's on. I don't know this bloke. I don't know him from Adam. He could be good, he could be shit, but come on, let's see if it's, you know what I mean? So you have to play. You've got to play the room, but it does depend. If someone's died because they're nasty, then you put your hand up, and if you didn't like it either, you go, that you've got to mention why they, you know what I mean? You know, I've had the other side of it. I remember doing, when I started off, there was, I won't do the joke, but a terrible compere did a terrible anti-Semitic joke, something about Jews going in an oven. Right? It was a horrible joke, and someone from the crowd got up and punched him. so he's holding his nose, and he went, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage Maury Davis." And he's brought me on, and I just went to the audience. You know what? I don't even care if you like me. I love you. Any crowd that would punch an MC for doing that joke, I love you. I think we've made a bond, already. You know, I think we're on the same page. You know, comedically, I think we're on the same page. I think we're going to have a lovely 10 minutes. So yeah, good.
Crazy. But yeah, and with a night, what would you say the main? So we mentioned this before. Opening is a great bit to be on, but what would you say is, in terms of, if you're putting a lineup,
if you're an open spot,
how do you play them?
If I was putting an open spot on, I'd always put them on. If you're going to have two intervals, I'd put them first after the interval. because that's the sweet spot.
Okay.
Because they've had a first act, they've had a drink, and they've had the MC again, and you're going on, and you're not going on in competition with another act you've just seen. That's your fresh. That's your really. So if I was when I run clubs, if I was putting an open spot on, I'd always put them on there for me, because that's the nicest spot for them. I wouldn't put them on at the beginning. I wouldn't put them on after an act. I wouldn't put them on before the last act. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the middle, after the interval, if I was putting an open spot on, I'd always put them on there, because that's their sweet spot for them.
Yeah. And if you're do you play it differently depending on if you're headlining or if you're opening a show?
No, you do what you do. I have before now. Sometimes when you've had I have refused to do an encore in the middle of a. I remember doing a thing it was a comedy festival thing in Cambridge. And it was in a big tent, a big domey tent, and I was on in the middle, and I just did really well, and they wanted an encore, and I wouldn't do it because that's not fair. Because you're up to me, you're upended. I've done well. I can't help that I've done well, but I'm not going to do that extra bit, and then it's like I'm taking on the closing act. Now, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wouldn't do it. Whereas if you're on last, as long as people haven't got to get, as long as you don't have to be out by a certain time. Don't overdo it, but you stay on for as long as you feel people want you to stay on. You know, like I used to do Bracknell. I used to do the Comedy Cellar in Bracknell. It's a lovely gig, and I did there once, and they used to have 3 acts, and I went there, and they just had 2. And I said to Simon, I said, now comes there's only 2 acts to. He said, Martin, because you always close and you always land up doing 45 minutes anyway. So it's like, so we thought we'd have you as the closing act of the second half, and you could do your 45 minutes, and we could pay you for the 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I went, all right then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like in America, like they do in America, they do 45 minutes, don't they, to headline, whilst we do 20 minutes.
Yeah, but then Americans do that thing where it's only the headliner is, like the headliner and the MC are the ones getting paid. Everyone else is doing it just to get stage time. So that's a different scene all again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard.
Because there's loads of things. Because there's loads of things that have come in since I've been here that I wouldn't have. The bringers and all that kind of shite. Just like, fuck off, man. If I don't have any friends, and if I did have any friends, I wouldn't have them for very long if I was dragging them along to fucking comedy clubs all the time. So no, I'm not going to bring you your fucking audience. How about you get an audience?
On top of that, the thing that's a bit of an issue with that is that you'll be taking your friends to an amateur night that's free, and I like my friends, so I want them to go to a good show, not a bad one.
And you won't have friends for long if you keep dragging them along to fucking free comedy nights, because they're not going to be your friend for long. Because they go, do you want to come to another show? No, I fucking don't. Because every time I love you, but every time we go to a comedy show, it's shit. So no. When you play the Comedy Store, I'll come to that.
Yeah.
I'm not coming to some bringer show. So all those I don't have any time for. Do you know what I mean? I'm not interested.
Okay. Yeah. It's there is, and this is another thing that's gone on the London comedy circuit as well. And I used to do this when I first started promoting, is we put on free nights. But now all my shows are ticketed, and I just think that it's damaging. I think ticketing nights you make more money as a promoter,
People have to pay.
and comedians make
It's
money.
not just that, but it's people have to have an investment. If it's nothing, it's worth nothing. If you're giving people a product, right, and it's nothing, then you don't expect them to have any kind of thing to in any way behave themselves as an audience, to have any investment in the night, to have any reason why they should shut the fuck up and listen to you, because they haven't paid. Dude, I could turn around and carry on having a drink in this room. I haven't paid for this. Where if you paid something, even a little bit, it's an investment. We've paid something. There's something going on. But I would never run 3 nights because they're nothing. It's just nothing.
But there's a lot of that.
To me, there's no investment. Now, an audience have to make an investment, even a small investment. It's only a drink. It's not even a drink. It's a soft drink. Do you know what I mean? But it's an investment in the night.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just pour people into a room and no one's paid anything, well, people would go, well, this could be a bit of shit because no one's charging us.
Yeah.
No.
But
maybe you do the bucket afterwards and all that rubbish, but at least that's something. But to charge people nothing, I just think it's no.
One thing I think when you started comedy, people did it because they like comedy. Whilst now a lot of people are doing it because they want the rewards of a top comedian, of actually enjoying being a comedian.
There wasn't the rewards. Yeah, there wasn't the big rewards that there are now. It wasn't an obvious career thing to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
People just want the rewards.
People look at it and go, well, I could be a McIntyre. I could be on Would I Lie to You? I could be on a thingy, 8 out of 10 Cats. There's a route, and they can see how maybe they think they're good enough or they're right enough. It's not even good enough. They could be right enough to do it, and they can see a career. That wasn't really there before. It was what it was. It was the circuit. It was what it was, and people loved doing it. But it wasn't that next. It wasn't that next thing ever. Well, now there is.
Yeah. It is. Now, for anyone that is listening right now, what advice would you give to comedians that isn't obvious, that they don't think that you've learned over the years? I know a lot of people say just write more, gig more, but what's actually a truthful thing that is very unique to you that you've learned that you can offer any newbie comedian that's listening?
Well, if you're a newbie, then you don't have any baggage. Like too many acts will, and I always hate it when people say, "Oh, I'm really fed up with my act," and you go, "Well, yeah, it's your act. So why are you fed up with it? What, you didn't buy it off of someone, did you? Right? It's your act. So if it's your act, well, like you said, now it's the obvious, but just keep writing, keep reinventing it, keep having fun with it. So if I was a newbie, I'd be looking at it and going, well, this is brilliant because I don't have anything. So I've got no laurels that I can lean on. I can't sit back on anything. I don't have anything. So I've got to write. I've got to work. I've got to do. And then when you do that, once you have something, keep doing it. Always think of it as like it's books on a bookshelf.
Yeah.
So keep putting new books on, and they'll push some of those old books off. So you've still got a nice big bookshelf with loads of books on it, but it's not the same books. And you just keep changing, and you do it for you, and you want to be Ed. You don't want to be. The amount of times you might see acts who never write anything, never sort of ad lib on stage or do anything, and you can see it in their eyes that they're a good joke that's been told a million times and you're bored of it is a bad joke. It will be told badly because it will be and you'll lose that because you know yourself. There's nothing better than you've got this new joke and you tell it and it works. You tell that joke for the first time and it works. You weren't sure. and you told it and it got that big laugh. It's never as funny again, but it's brilliant. You've got the power to keep doing that to yourself. You've got the power to go keep having that new. I know it is the cliche of just keep it real, keep reinventing it. You know what I mean? You've got to keep reinventing and don't go. I've done this a million times. I know how to do. You don't know how to do it. There's a million ways to do it. You can watch everybody. You can watch people to see what it's like. Watch people to see. Watch acts you don't like, and watch them, and go, and then kind of analyze it in your head. What is it they're doing? Because they may be doing really well, but what is it that they're doing that you actually don't like? It's not your world. It's not what you want to say. It's not. Even though they might be doing really well on that night. They might be doing whatever. So watch people you don't like and actually go, oh, okay. No, but I don't want to do that. But I can recognise what he's doing, but it's not what I want to do. And then and just be as true to yourself. I do this as much for me. If I take myself now and stuff, if I pick back, there'll be bits on, and every now and then I'll come out with something. It makes me laugh. There's a bit of invention that's happened in that night. There's a bit of magic that's happened, and it weren't planned. And someone said something, and I replied, and then we ran with it, and it became a little bit, and it just happened that night, and it might not ever happen again. And it was brilliant. So every time you go on stage, you're kind of thinking, that might happen. There might be something like that tonight's going to happen. A magic moment, and it is. It's a brilliant thing to do, and it can be magic. It can always be magic. And how many jobs can you have that you can go out and go, I can, tonight what I do can be magic. It can be really, really, I can come off and go, wow, okay, that was good. Well, that was fun. And that happened. And I had that bit I was working on. I tried that bit and it worked.
Yeah.
It really worked. They really liked it. Oh, fantastic. Right? You're not in a play that's written by someone else, directed by someone else. It's yours. You've made this thing didn't happen. Whatever you did, it wasn't there before.
Yeah.
And then you did it. If you can't get off on that, then I feel sorry for you. And for me, that kind of magic and loving it just don't go away. To me, it doesn't matter, how long you do it. And you get the gigs where you go, fucking, that was work. But even that's fun because you go, oh, what? So it's not always magic. Oh, no. There's going to be times it's going to be just head down, get to the end, you're done. Whereas if it was always like that, then you wouldn't do it. Right? But, if it was always like back in the day, the Christmas gigs used to be like that. The Christmas gigs used to be for all December. It was just head down, work hard, get your money, and get through Christmas because they are what they are.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're like their office parties and whatever. Now, if it was Christmas gigs all through the year, I reckon there's a lot of people who wouldn't want to do comedy. I can't be asked doing this. Even if you're earning a good living, you'd go, no, I don't need to be doing that. I can do something else. But because it's only that little bit of a year, it used to be that little bit of the year, so you get through it, and then you come into January, oh, here we go, and then we start again, and we're back to normal, just normal people again.
Yeah.
We're not, the really drunk, throwing up, having a fight, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And for anyone that is listening right now, how do they find out about you? What's your address? What's
my address? My address? No, you can't have my address. I'm on Facebook under Martin Davis. I'm on Instagram, the real Martin Davis, Cape Town. Real Martin Davis, Cape Town. I don't bother. I'm on Twitter, but I don't bother with it. I only ever retweet other clever people's things, and I've kind of gone off it because, Elon Musk getting involved. I don't really want to have anything to do with him anyway. So, the TikTok, I keep being told I need to do. I can't be asked. Do you know what I mean? I really can't. It's not my world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's the one thing I've noticed doing gigs, that a lot of the younger acts, they're always filming themselves, and they always seem to be filming themselves trying to get little TikTok videos out of it. And you watch them and you go, yeah, do you want to do the gig first? It might be nice if you did the gig instead of just trying to get a little TikTok video out of the gig that the guy is paying you to do. Do the gig. Do the gig. And if something happens and you happen to film it and it's a nice little clip from TikTok, happy days. But dude, to me, it just seems a bit, a bit arse round tip way of doing it.
Arse round tip? What's that? Arse round tip?
Well, arse round tip. It's all like, it's not backwards or forwards. No, do you know what I mean? It's not backwards or forwards. It's like arse round tip. It's like, yeah. It's not, you do the gig. You do the gig for. It's the way.
Hello?
Yes. That.
Oh no, it cut out there. Sorry.
All right.
So it was arse round tit, and I think I heard you say white.
Arse round tit. Yeah, but you do the gig first. Do the gig and then worry about all your clips and your videos and your promotion stuff. You know what I mean? It just seems, yeah. Maybe I'm getting old. I don't know. Maybe that is the way, the way forward. But it just don't sit well with me. People are good at it, but people who seem to constantly put up either Instagram or TikTok videos, and they're not that funny, and they seem to do it every day. You're like, who are you selling? What are you selling? Do you know what I mean? You go, but then people who are good at it, you go, yeah, okay. And it seems people who can just be walking down the street chatting into their camera about something that was funny that day, and they are funny people. Yeah. But there's many days I don't feel funny, particularly I've got anything funny and I want to really video myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Cool. Guys, that's been Martin Davis. It's been a journey. There definitely a lot of gems you'll get from this episode. And yeah, Martin, please run a comedy course, because I think you would make a lot of money from doing it.
No.
Mate,
those you can do, those you can't teach.
But fucking, there's so much stuff you said in there that is just...
No, I've had so many people say that to me. And it's another one of my things. Oh, no. I'm not. No.
Okay.
I'm the perfect comic in the car coming back from a gig. If you're a new actor, you want to just talk about stuff, I will chat to you all. I remember coming back from somewhere like Plymouth, and this kid said, thank you so much. You really talked a lot. And I said, fella, I was talking about my specialist subject, me. It wasn't hard for me to talk for 2-something hours about me. It was really easy. It was no problem. See, any other time you want to talk to me about me, I'll do that. So, I don't think I was being altruistic or in any kind of way. I was like, no, I can talk about me. And also, I do like to. I remember the established acts when I started, who were nice to me. I remember the ones who were a bit arsey and stuff, but I distinctly remember the ones who were nice. So I always try and be nice to everyone I meet, until if you turn out to be a bit of a prick, I'll treat you like one. But if I meet you, and it doesn't mean if you're funny or not, you can be shit, and I'll still be nice to you. I'll buy you a drink. We could be doing a gig. You could go on stage, die on your ass, and I'll still buy you a drink if you're a nice fella.
Hmm.
And if you want to chat about stuff, well, we'll chat about stuff. But I always try and be nice, because I remember coming up and look, seeing people and thinking, oh God, it's them, oh God. And then when they were nice to you back, I'm like, oh wow, that was really nice of them. So, you do try and pass it on a bit,
Yeah.
I mean, as if I know anything. You know what I mean?
Spread a good virus, not a virus of shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's been Martin. I hope you follow him. I'm definitely going to get him down at my stage soon. But yeah, I'll see you next episode. I think the next person I'm going to be speaking to is a South African comedian called Chantel Harris.
I think I know her.
She was South African best newcomer, and she's talking about how her and her friend are running a South African comedy school, helping people from disadvantaged backgrounds. But yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
That's the next episode, guys. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you guys soon.
All right, darlings.